Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. We are from Aerospace R&D Private Limited and now we are an approved R&D organization by DGCA in the field of unmanned aerial systems. Today I had to like to introduce today's presenter Mr. Krishna Rajagopal and I'll start with few little introduction. He is a senior data scientist having more than 12 years of industrial experience and working with many big data and data science applications for various domains like healthcare, airline, banking and finance and credit bureau. He has completed his master's specialized in data analytics and doing doctorate in artificial intelligence. So now you can start the session, sir. Can you able to see my screen?
Thank you, sir.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Fundamentals of Artificial Intelligence from Aerospace R&D Private Limited. So as part of this today's learning objective, we'll discuss about what is artificial intelligence and what is the definition of artificial intelligence and what is the relationship between artificial intelligence and data science. And we'll discuss about machine learning and what is the relationship between artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science, different machine learning approaches, and different applications of machine learning. So we know in the today's digital era, the data which we are generating is huge in volume. We are generating the data from the different sources, starts from our mobile, sensors, a Twitter, a Facebook, social medias, and even the machines is generating the data. So that's generally called it as a data economy. When we say the word data economy, it refers how fast the data has grown in the past and how fast the data will grow in the future. So mainly the data will be considered as one of the buzzword today's call it as an big data in terms of different characteristics. When the data will be considered as an big data, we will consider the data as big data when the volume is huge. So, and when the volume of the data is very, very huge, that time we will consider as in big data. It's not only based on the volume, it depends on the different characteristics like variety and velocity and veracity. We'll discuss about this different V's of big data. So the first one is volume. If the volume of the data is very huge in size, then that data will be considered as in big data. Similarly, whatever the data we are bringing in, if it consider multiple types, it's considered as a tweet or Facebook. In Twitter or Facebook, the data we post could be of different varieties or different format. It's not just only text format. It is of videos, it is of images, it is of document, whatever we are sharing in the WhatsApp, it consists of multiple different types of data. Similarly, how fast we are generating the data. Everybody is tweeting whenever India plays a cricket match or any tweets comes, the velocity of the data which we generate in the recent digital era is very, very huge. So one of the statistics states whatever the data volume was in the year 2009, it's become 44x within the last 2 years. So within this last one decade, by 2021, it has been increased 44x. So we need a special systems. We cannot go with the conventional systems to store our data, like an Oracle. So we need a special systems to store this data. It's not only about storing the data. So when we store this data, we have to process this data. And after processing the data, we have to create some intelligence insights which will be used for us to take the business calls or that will be converted to money. So these are different challenges. So these are the different challenges kept in mind. The technologies come up with the different fundamentals. That is the main cause for the emergence of artificial intelligence. The first challenge is to store this big volume of data. So that's where the big data comes to picture. which consist of multiple ecosystems like a NoSQL or HDFS, where it have the capability to store huge volume of data. So it have the capability to store unstructured as well as structured data. When you say structured data, it's kind of a schema data like in our traditional database, like an employee table or the any structured format. And the semi-structured data, generally we'll call it as an XML data or the JSON data. And the unstructured data is mainly call it as an whatever the tweets or the Facebook or whatever the things which we are typing. So generally those will not have any structure. We will type it in our own format. But this big data will have the capability to store all these different types of data as well as the huge volume of data. Now we have stored the data, but is it organized? Of course, to get the insights of it, first we need to analyze and organize this data. Then we need to study about this data. So that study and analysis and prepare the data will be part of a data science. So this mainly consists of an analyzing the data using the different statistical model will part of a data science. Once we are converted our data to some decent manner, then we have to build the insights on top of this data. That's where the artificial intelligence comes to the picture, where we will teach the machine to learn from the data and drive insights or business capabilities, which gives rising to the artificial intelligence. So mainly, rather than we code, and mainly we are teaching the machines to learn by themselves, like how the kid will learn by himself by looking into different patterns. We'll get into that details in our further slides. So let's define what is intelligence. Mainly that artificial intelligence, it's kind of a mimic the human intelligence using different logics. So we will use a different techniques to mimic the human intelligence in this computers. The second one, which involves intelligent to achieve this, which involves multiple intelligent agents as well as autonomous entity. So which mainly used to redefine industry structures and which will be more focused on targeted customer and personalized services, thereby increasing the businesses. And it is mainly used for automating the processes like a self-driving cars, which we will discuss in detail. So what are the different artificial intelligence based application? Starting from the self-driving car, which also call it as an autonomous car. It's a wonderful example of self-driving cars. So it is the future of cars. Mainly there will not be any human who drives the car, rather than the programmatic artificial intelligence, which will have the capability to identify the obstacle and drive by it. So it is this is one of the application of artificial intelligence. And when it comes to our daily usage, our Apple phone, which consists of Siri, is another beautiful example of artificial intelligence, which will read our human voice and which will source whatever we expect. For example, call a respective person or text to respective person will be converted into an action. So Siri is another example of artificial intelligence. And Google's AlphaGo and Amazon Echo, the IBM Watson, which have the capability to playing chess, music, as well as it has the capability to cook. And the next one is the recommendation system. So the applications of artificial intelligence is many. However, I have been covered few of them here. The recommendation systems we'll discuss in detail. The next one is the recommendation systems. So let's go with our real-time example. So when I want to book any product in online, generally what do we do? So we'll go to any of this online portal, these sites like Amazon.com. Then we will log into that Amazon.com. Then we'll make our orders. We'll purchase whatever we want. Then we will check, we'll confirm our orders. Then we'll do the payments. Then automatically they will deliver to our home. This process involves multiple touch points or the multiple phases. So let's consider the recommendation systems. You might be face this everywhere, in not only in Amazon.com. Whenever you order a product, it will suggest an equivalent product based on the recommendation. For example, whenever I order a bread, automatically it will recommend like you might be interested in jam. This is not only for your online order purchase, you might have been experienced in your YouTube. Whenever you start watching any of the YouTube songs, like automatically it will recommend a similar songs. Whenever you are more interested with the melodious songs, then automatically the system will identify your behavior that you are more interested with the melodious song. Then automatically when you log in or when you go to YouTube next time, automatically it will suggest the melodious songs. So these are the different recommendation systems which will run behind the artificial intelligence, which will uses multiple machine learning and the deep learning algorithms, which will identify the users' behavior and their demographic systems and provide the necessary and the right suggestions to the customer. Rather than you're building a product and selling to the customer, the customers who don't want. For example, I have a book, but if you're going and selling to a person who's not interested to read, there is no point of marketing your book to that respective person. It is a waste of time for both the people, the person who's listening to you as well as the person who's selling that book. So rather than going with that, if you identify the right potential customer who is willing to buy the book, then of course it's a win-win situation for both of us. That's what the artificial intelligence will come into picture as part of a recommendation systems, which will identify what exactly the customer is looking for and provide them the right product or the right solutions to the end customer. So when it comes to artificial intelligence, these are the three main keywords where people use to talk frequently, starting from what is artificial intelligence, the machine learning, and the data science. All these three keywords, you can keep listening to this whenever we talk about either machine learning or the data science or the artificial intelligence. All these three words will play with each other. So let's identify and discuss about what are the three differences between this AI, ML, and the DS. Okay, so however, all three are comes under the same umbrella. All three have different definitions and different capabilities and the different use cases. Starts with an artificial intelligence. Let's start with an data science. So whenever we got in data, the data has been curated and the data has been cleansed. First, we need to transform the data into understandable format by using a data analytical methods or the data curation methods. That's where the data science will come to the picture, where the data scientist will use a different data science mathematical techniques, which will be converts that underlying data into more meaningful data. So from that, they will understand and study about the data and they will identify what are the different features about the data. That's where the data science comes. After identifying the features, then the machine learning will comes to the picture, where the machine learning will be broadly classified into two, the unsupervised machine learning and supervised machine learning, where we will discuss about this machine learning webinar, where we can discuss more about this unsupervised machine learning and supervised machine learning. So, and then once we predicted this data, so as part of this machine learning, we will predict the data. So mainly the machine learning will use the historical data, and using the historical data, it will predict the pattern of this data, and then it will provide some insights. So after insights is been built, we can create some action on top of it. For example, we are predicting an healthcare related use cases like a patient can be infected with the cancer, or let's go with Will Kohli will score 100. So these are the different types of predictions based on whatever the historical data we have. And after we identify the insights, let's do an action on top of it. It's not only identifying an insights. Once we identify the insights, we will take an actions based on either manual decision or automated decision. In case of an self-driving car, first the data will be taken. So here the data is nothing but your obstacles or your the humans who is crossing the door. Whenever they are getting the data, first it will classifies like what kind of feature it is. Is it a human, or is it a signal, or is it a speed breaker? And accordingly it will predicts, and then it will, as part of a deep learning, it happens, predicts, and then it will make an action. If it is in speed break or signal, we have to break. If it is in any obstacles like a human comes, then obviously we have to apply break. So this is how the entire functions will work. So I hope like now you understand what is the differences between the data science, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. All three will work hand in hand to achieve or make our objective possible. The next one is, what is the relationship between a data science and the machine learning? Data science is of use of different patterns in the data. So mainly, as I mentioned earlier, data science will uses different mathematical algorithms, which is mainly used to identify the patterns in the data. So the person who's coming from this specific area is always willing to buy these things. So mainly this is kind of a prediction where mainly first we will play around with the data. That's where the data science will comes to the picture. And mostly the statistical machine learning and the data science will more often similar use cases. You can ignore this. This may be more of vague concept currently. We can focus only on the application oriented. Or the next one is the techniques like statistical mainly the data science uses techniques like statistical modeling, visualization, and pattern recognition. These are the different techniques which is being available in the market, and we can build our own data science techniques as well. Whereas the machine learning mainly focus on building the algorithm from the data provided. So what kind of algorithms I need to build, or what kind of a model I need to use for on top of this data, so that my prediction will be more accurate. So there are different types of machine learning techniques, like in as told, unsupervised machine learning and supervised machine learning. That's again classified into classification, regressions, logistic regressions. So these are different types of techniques, and we can go with the ensemble machine learning algorithms too. So that we will cover as part of an indeed when we discuss about more of an machine learning. But as part of today's webinar, we'll more focus on the fundamentals of artificial intelligence and what are the fundamentals about the data science and machine learning. The next one is, what is traditional methods versus the machine learning. So in our traditional programming, I hope like most of you here are the programmers or the computer science departments or who are being worked with this data. So mainly in our traditional conventional method, what we do, we will have the data and we will get the requirement, the business logic requirement, and based on the business logic requirement, we will program and we will get the output. But in terms of a machine learning, we will have the data, we will have the historical output. By using the data and the historical output, we will build a model. And using that model, again, we will predict the output. This is how it functions. It's kind of an iteration model in terms of a machine learning. So I hope this workflows helps to understand the traditional programming in a better way. So first, what we do, first we will identify the problems, and for that problem, we will code either in any of the language like Java or Python, then evaluate the output. If the evaluates fails, then we haven't met the requirement. So we will review the errors, and again, we will look into the problem and rewrite our logic to address to our problem. Then if it is passes, then we will promote to the production. This is how the traditional programming relies. However, in the machine learning, first, once we identify the problem, we will train the model. Whatever the historical data, so to train the model, the one of the key input is the historical data. So whatever the data we have, we will take this data and we will train the model based on the problem whatever is being given. Then we will evaluate whether the model is performing good. So if the evaluate is fails because of the performance of the model, if it is not met with accuracy, then again we will train the model with more trained data. So let's go with one simple example. So here I want to know this, what is the problem in hand. I want a kid to classify whether it's a cat or dog or apple or orange. So if you want your kid to identify, the born kid to identify to whether it's an orange or apple, first we need to show them what is apple and what is orange. So that is what the training data will comes to picture. So mainly we will show 4 different types of an apple to a kid, and we'll show to the kid this is what apple is. Then similarly, we will show some of the pictures of orange and we'll train the kid with these are the types of an orange. Now the kid brain will train with these are the types will be considered as an apple based on the different features. For example, if it is red, what do you mean by features? So the color is one of the feature. Apple will be in red in color. Then it will be in oval shape. Then it kind of a toe in the bottom. So these are the different features used by the human brains to differentiate apple from the other fruits. Similarly, when we go to orange, how do our brain gets trained with orange? When we take orange, how do we register the orange in our brain? First, we'll take some of the features like color. Okay, it could be in orange color. Then it will be round in shape. Then it will have in some hard skin outside. So these are the different features we will be taken as an input for that respective objects. That we will take it as an trained data, which will be comes with an features. With that features, we'll train the model. Now we have been trained with the historical data. Once it has been trained, then we'll evaluate. Now I have an apple and orange. Now I am able to differentiate apple and orange. But during the evaluation, if I give any new fruits like banana, absolutely my model will fail because I haven't trained my brain or trained the kid with the banana, because the kid doesn't even see what is banana. So definitely it would fail. So again, we'll go with the trained data where we'll show some of the bananas. Then obviously automatically the kid's brain will train with what is banana, then in the next time it will evaluate. So the more we train, our accuracy will increase. This is one of the key things. Then we'll go to, then once it has been evaluated and once it's been passed, we will promote that to production. Now we'll discuss about what are the, yeah. Hello. Yeah, the next one we'll discuss about what are the different machine learning techniques. Starting with different types of machine learning starts from the classification, categorization, clustering, trend analysis, anomaly detection, visualization, and the decision making. And the machine learning will be used in different functions as well as different domains. Starts from the image processing, robotics, data mining, video games, text analysis, healthcare. So for example, when you take image processing, that will convert a digital format and perform some operation on it. For example, recognize a face. That is a beautiful example of image processing. And identify an optical characters inside the document. That's again an image processing. YOLO is another deep learning concept. It is you only look once. It comes under the image processing, where OpenCV is a main concept behind this image processing, which will identify a specific image or object based on the bounded boxes. So with this image processing, we can identify a person based on biometric facial, and we can allow them. So there are plenty of use cases when we go only simply with image processing. Again, it's a vast concept, but I'm just covering it on very high level. The next one is in robotics. When it comes to robotics, we can create robots which will replace the human effects and whatever the repetitive task which can be made it as in robots. We can see a lot of robots in our day-to-day life, starts from the smart home, many things. Even there are some robots which will clean the home automatically. And the next one is data mining. As part of this data mining, it's mainly the method of identifying the hidden patterns or analyzing the hidden patterns. So this is mainly used for anomaly detections. For example, when any fraud detection or anomaly detections happens, any abnormal situations happens, this data mining techniques will be used to identify the situation and act upon to the situation. The next one is video games. Absolutely everybody knows what is Pokemon, and we are building so many video games using an artificial intelligence from Nvidia and so many companies. The next one is then text analysis. Mainly this is for then sentiment analysis, or if you want to identify whatever the mails you are getting, is it in spam mail or is it from the reliable sender, those kind of an analysis which can be performed easily by using this artificial intelligence and machine learning classification algorithms. And healthcare is another use cases of artificial intelligence and machine learning, where we can diagnose and identify the diseases, and we can predict, and we can identify what kind of an doses we can use, or what kind of an medicines we can. So those kind of an predictions also will come as part of an healthcare. So based on the historical data of an patients, we can identify what kind of diseases he may get in the future. So accordingly we can provide the medicines and cure the respective patients. So whatever the use cases we have discussed are very limited, but definitely I believe this gives an entire picture about what is artificial intelligence and what is machine learning, what is data science on high level, and what are the different applications the machine learning, data science, and artificial intelligence is used to create an insights, and how it will be used for the individuals and as well as to the business entities. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining. If you have any questions, I'm open to answer.
Sir, good morning, sir. I'm Noel Sophia from Alpha Wisdom.
Yes, Sophie.
If we have to give some small projects to our students, like from 9 to 12 or from 6 to 8, what kind of project we can give them in artificial intelligence?
9 to 12 and 6 to 8 is the sections they are doing, right? They are the school students.
School students, yes, sir.
Cool. So you can start with an very simple artificial intelligence based project along with an IoT, uh, using an Python, like building an any air quality related sensors, or I suggest very simple programs, like text to class, text to speech conversion, and speech to text conversion. How to code it in Python, and identifying an image using an OpenCV with the simple programs, and we
Is there
can
any
give some.
Is there any online simulators which we can use? Online simulators which they can use for IoT and all. If they have to try, they can use some
Mhm.
online simulators.
Right, right.
If there is
Yes,
any
yes.
link,
There are
if you can
plenty of
share
online simulate. Yeah, yeah. Sophia, please go ahead.
if you have those links, if you can share it with us, then it will be useful. So we can share those links to students and we can ask
Sure.
them. Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, if possible, you can share your mail ID and consent details so that I will ask my team to connect with
Yes,
you.
sir. Sure, sure, sir.
Yeah,
In that
thank you.
WhatsApp group, I will share my email ID.
Yeah, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We can discuss further and we will help you out.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, any other doubts? Do you have any other doubts, guys? Or shall we wind up?
Thank you, everyone. If there is no questions, I hope we can wind it up. Even the meeting is going to end. Thanks once again for joining. Over to you, Dilip.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for your.
Thank you so much, sir, to make this session great. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you being here. We have also planned to organize more number of webinars in the field of AI and big data and UAVs. We will share about our upcoming webinars to your registered mail IDs. Please stay connected. Thanks again for joining us today, and we will see you on next webinar. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.